You are listening to Supplement Source, the official podcast of the Council for Responsible Nutrition. And now, your host, Jeff Ventura.
Happy New Year from all of us at Supplement Source. I'm Jeff Ventura, the Vice President of Communications here at the Council for Responsible Nutrition, and I am joined today by Eric Ciappio and Lauren Eisen. Eric is a Senior Manager at Balchem, and Lauren is a Marketing Manager. Welcome to the both of you. Thanks for stopping by. I'm really excited to have both of you here on Supplement Source to talk about Innovation Exchange. It was a new event for us in 2024, and man, it was so well received. There was just so much positive feedback that we got and are still receiving actually about it. You being one of the participants in the very first Innovation Exchange, I think it's just incredibly exciting to have Balchem on the line with us. So firstly, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out today to talk to us at the Supplement Source studio.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Innovation Exchange for you guys. What did you present on? What was your topic? I can't quite remember, but I want to be educated.
Sure. So at the Innovation Exchange, we were mostly focused on the initiatives at Balchem for prenatal nutrition. And so we have 3 key ingredients here at Balchem supporting mothers that want to give children their best possible start. They can achieve their full potential. We want to be able to provide the opportunity to help shape the future for both health and happiness for babies and, of course, themselves. And nutrition is really important in the prenatal space for mom and baby, as I just said. And so we have iron, folate, and choline are especially important in that space. And so we wanted to help CRN raise awareness in those ingredients. So those were the aspects that we spoke to. And so innovation is especially important to bring light to the category for prenatal. And so it was an aspect that we thought was a good area, a way to nourish the future is what we called it, in a way to bring innovation to the category.
Yeah, I was really sort of baptized to this whole area just in working with Eric a little bit on the presentation and the sort of booth at ACOG. But Eric, tell me a little bit about this in terms of, Lauren mentions raising awareness. What is the deficit of awareness that we're sort of countering here when we talk about developing innovation in this space?
I think the prenatal space in particular is one that is a little bit underserved by nutrition, generally speaking, which is pretty wild considering the importance of nutrition during development. I mean, there's, I think, a strong case to be made that says there's no greater time in your life that nutrition is more important than during pregnancy and development. And there are certain things that I think, generally speaking, the field is pretty bought into. I mean, things like folic acid and folate for the prevention of neural tube defects, like iron for the prevention of anemia. But now we're in this area or in this era where new clinical trials done specifically in pregnant women are showcasing benefits. Whereas a lot of the times I think we as a field will sort of assume that health benefits that are tested typically in, male subject populations just sort of translate, hopefully, fingers crossed. And now we're in this world where we've done trials specifically in pregnant women, and we're looking at how they can impact, these nutrients can impact the health of both mom and baby. And I think that was what we really wanted to showcase on a broader level, I think, for what the field has done for pregnant women, and of course what Balchem has done through our own investment.
I interviewed one of the trailblazing women candidates or nominees, and she essentially was talking about the same thing about doing clinical studies specifically in women. And she said it's high time that we started to realize that women are not little men. That's how I'm quoting her.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So I thought that was pretty dead on. So Lauren, tell me more about the actual presentation. What were some of the goals in terms of, we talk about raising awareness in that moment at that event? What were some of the things you guys were trying to get across?
I think we wanted to really raise awareness for, we just mentioned, you said some of the deficiencies that exists for some nutrients. I think it's easy to think that we have food and beverages, we have supplementation in the industry, so that, are we getting enough of some of the nutrition? And sometimes that's just not the case, right? In the prenatal category, especially for women, they're just not getting enough. So how can we really make sure that the ingredients that are coming to the market, moms and babies especially, are getting what they need, and they're getting the right forms of what they need to be getting to the right nutrition? How is it that we can support that with the right research? They're getting science-backed forms. We're getting in front of the consumer in the right way, and that consumers are getting to a place that they understand materials, and they're getting really to the right sources of information from the right people, and they're getting what they need on the shelf, and they're getting materials through products that they believe in and that they're from trusted sources. So these are really places that we're turning to brands, and we're turning to opportunities like CRN to really find those places for education that are meaningful to the consumer, and we have a platform to really educate in that area. So I felt it was a meaningful place and a platform that we could do so and engage in that discussion too, not just on the level of from a B2B aspect, but also from a scientific nature as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about your target, right? So when you're in a forum like that and you're talking to that particular group of people, right? So here you have a lot of supplement companies, brands in the audience. Who are you talking to specifically there? And who doesn't know the Balchem story that might, that you wanted to really educate in that moment?
We'll always preach the Balchem story, of course. And I think in this case, it's a really good story to tell, which is the innovation in the prenatal space.
Yeah.
We purposely designed our presentation to speak both to the more marketing focused people that were in the audience.
Yeah.
And Lauren laid out a really great case study for why the prenatal segment is something that you as a brand should invest into. And also I tried to lay out a bit of a scientific case. I think, again, there's certain things that I think all of us are sort of bought into, generally speaking, in the prenatal space, but there's been a lot of innovation, and there's a lot of opportunities as a brand to create new products that are tailored to the needs of these women, and of course optimizing health for both mom and baby. So we showed some of the clinical trials that we've done, some of the recent publications that we've got to showcase that it's not just a prenatal multivitamin, which is of course the core, but there are opportunities to deliver additional products alongside those as well.
What are some of the reasons, Eric, that some brands are still sitting on the sidelines with regard to prenatals? Is it that they're waiting? I mean, they're waiting for more science behind it, or because my understanding is that prenatals have been one of the kind of hero supplements in terms of, I mean, there's a lot of acknowledgement, I think, from even HCPs that prenatals are necessary. So why wouldn't they get into the space?
I think there's two things. I mean, I'll let Lauren speak to the market case for it, but I think from a science standpoint, I think part of it, to your point, Jeff, I mean, it is, yes, I think generally speaking, the prenatal multivitamin is not terribly controversial, but I think there's been opportunities that show ways you can update that to address common issues. I mean, one example might be iron supplementation in pregnant women, incredibly important since iron deficiency impacts nearly 25% of women, particularly by the time they hit the third trimester. Mm-hmm. But one challenge that women face, for example, is GI upset with things like ferrous sulfate, for example. Mm-hmm. So we offer a form that is 64% less likely to lead to GI upset, as an example.
Wow.
We've also got our latest launch in our Optifolin product, which is a more bioavailable form compared to folic acid. We've also got our choline, which, for the last, at least 3-4 years now, had a really fruitful clinical research pipeline demonstrating lasting cognitive benefits for baby when mom takes it during pregnancy. I think those kinds of more cutting edge benefits, I don't think are quite as well understood, and the awareness, of course, can always grow. But I think, Lauren can speak much better than I can to some of the dynamics in the market that may have caused folks to sort of turn a little bit of a blind eye.
Yes, absolutely. So, just as Eric said, while it seems like, in the market, we're seeing that there's absolutely a slow right now with a generation of birth rates that are slowing. We see the market itself is a little bit stagnant when we see growth in that trajectory from maybe compared to other categories and health benefits that might be a little bit stronger in, let's say, the growth of itself as a category that has that expectation. But when we look at prenatals as a whole, there's absolutely an area for the premium segment that has a trajectory, that has an opportunity when we look at innovation that allows for an area for this growth, which means, and where do we see that when it comes to innovation? It may be not so much in the straight multivitamin, and that's what you're talking about, and that's kind of the standard, how do I get my just straight daily values of the core things, but we see this more so in boosters and sidecars and things that are truly innovative, that deliver on where we see some of these deficiencies, or things that give me that extra boost, or where Eric just talked about, I'm not getting enough choline. So how do I get this? Maybe they don't fit in the standard multivitamin, so I have to add, I can get this through a sidecar type example, or they're the new and improved sort of liquid type capsules or something cool, or I can get it through a powder or a stick pack that I don't really want to take my, my horse pill or my...
Right. Pregnancy's hard enough.
My pregnancy is really hard. So I think that's where we're trying to capture innovation, is where can women that are struggling to take that standard type pill, how can they take something that's a little bit innovative, that it's an enjoyable experience? That's something else that is coming up in the market, that it becomes an enjoyable experience and it becomes something different that meets the needs of, that they can get to fulfill those other needs that they can't really get from something that they're missing. So it's really thinking about innovation in a different way that is fulfilling, that they're either getting through their doctors, through that testing, to really fill in those gaps through innovation, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense. Guys, what are we not talking about that you want to mention before we say goodbye? This has been just a fantastic conversation.
I think two things. One, on a broader sense, I walked away from the Innovation Exchange and Convergence overall just being really impressed with the level of investment into research and science across the entire industry. And I think all the presentations that occurred during Innovation Exchange were fantastic, and it really shows the breadth of solutions that, as an industry, I think we can all offer. I think from a Balchem perspective, part of the reason I joined is because of that investment. To Balchem's credit, there's, I think, 23 active research projects happening right now between clinical research studies and preclinical work and everything in between, which is amazing. And I don't think we're alone in that. Obviously, I'm biased as to which ones I like, but overall, it's a really great time to be in the industry, and I think investing into some of these health outcomes and target populations like pregnant women who have been looking for innovation in the space, this is a really great time, because we are in a position where we are really offering new and unique solutions for these folks, and it's a great time to be as part of the industry and a great time to be part of Balchem.
Well, we really appreciate you both coming on the show today. Lauren and Eric from Balchem, thank you so much.
Yes, we definitely hope to continue to make an impact on the future generations, and we look forward to the next Innovation Exchange and how we can work with brands in the industry on any of those marketing challenges.
I think that's a great note to end on. Thanks again, guys.
All right,
Thank you so much.